CRUD operations. You know, right? CRUD means create, read, like update, delete. So those all operations you can perform on database directly by using these commands. Okay. So for example, if you want to create the data, so you have to use the insert query. If you want to read the data, you have to use the select query. If you want to update the data, you have to use the update query. And if you want to delete the data by using some particular ID or name, you can delete your data by using this query. Okay, I'll paste all this data for your reference. I'll paste into the chart. Okay, so here you can see you can perform all this CRUD operation on directly on database by using the command line. This is not my case, right? So I can perform same operation on database by using the MuleSoft. Okay, even I can create the table, I can insert the data, I can read the data from the table, I can update the data into the table, I can delete the particular customer details on the table. I can do all this operation by using the MuleSoft. So here I will not use the command line. Why? Because everyone don't know about this command line, right? So that's why especially in our integration purpose we'll use MuleSoft. Okay, we'll use MuleSoft to integrate the database and we can perform all the operations on the database. Okay, already we have discussed it, right? So everyone can utilize our MuleSoft and directly they can interact with the MySQL DB and they can insert their details. For example, Flipkart user, he want to register his details. Once he register his details, once he click on submit button, that all details will go to the database and inside database it will insert into a particular table. Okay, for example, the table name is like user table. So all user his like store their details into that user table. Okay, like for example, once he purchased order. Okay, like order means you can see all the product name, price name, all the details you can see on the order, right? Order ID, order time. So all these details will store into the order table. Okay, in that way, so different details will store in a different tables. So for that they are using our MuleSoft. Why? Because from our MuleSoft we are publishing our services as a REST APIs. So everyone can access easily our services internally. MuleSoft will connect to the DB by using database connector. Okay, by using database connector we'll connect to the DB. I'll show you how we can connect to the database by using the database connector. I'll show you. Okay, so for that, first of all, I want to create a one sample application. Okay, so here, how can I create the application? Click on new and Mule project. Here, DB underscore or hyphen, anything is fine. Okay, I'll choose underscore DB underscore example. Okay, so if you want to give MySQL also, my underscore SQL. MySQL DB example. This is my application name. I'm clicking on the finish button. So my application will create. So yeah, now you can see I'm creating the application. Once I click on the finish button, it will create a project for you. Empty project it will create. In that, by using the database connector, you have to connect to the database. Okay. So first of all, the application will create in this way. So it will give you one empty convoy. So here you will create a flow to connect to the database. How you can create the flow? You know, right? You know very well how we can start our flow implementation by using the HTTP listener. Why? Because When I'm sending my request from the Postman or any browser, this HTTP listener will listen that request and it will start the flow. It will process the flow. Okay. Let's configure this HTTP listener. How you can configure? It is also very simple. Just click on plus button and click on OK button. So then your HTTP listener configuration is done. Okay. So after that, next I'll create a path here. What is my path? So suppose I want to get some details, customer details. How can I get? Simply get customers. Get customers is my flow. And I want to get the customer details from the database. How can I get? By using database connector. Okay. So how can I add the database connector to my application? That is also very simple. Just click on this add module. Here you can see all the modules, available modules. Here you can see file module, FTP, email, database module. You can see HTTP, JMS, lot of modules you can see here. Especially we are connecting to MySQL DB, right? So here I will add the database module to my project. First you need to include that module to your project. You have to add that module to your project. After that, in that module you can see multiple operations. So based on your operation type, here is my operation type is like get customers. So to select the customers, to get the customers from the database, I need to select the one of the suitable operation. What is the suitable operation here? Select operation. I'll drag the select operation. Okay. So after that, before and after, I'll place some loggers. Okay, for my purpose. So how can I add the logger? Just click on favorite. Here you can drag the loggers. Okay. So I can assume this is the start logger and this is the end logger. Okay, even I can change the display name also. This is the start logger. Okay, so like flow started, like flow started message it will give. And same way, this is the end logger. Flow ended. So if you see this message in the console, then you can understand. So once you see this message flow started, nothing but the request will come to our MuleSoft. You can assume in that way. Once this logger is printed in the console, so your process completed successfully. Okay, nothing but your flow ended successfully. So if any error occurred in a database, so this end logger will not print. Why? Because so once all this flow executed successfully, then only this end logger will print. So what is the indication to print this end logger? So our flow executed successfully. Okay. So let's see. I'll open this database. I'll configure this database. First, if I want to select the data, first I need to connect to the database. First, I need to connect to the database. What is my database name? TestDB. Inside database, I need to connect to the table. Okay. Inside database, I need to connect to the table and I will get this all this employee details. So to connect to this database, I need some details. What are those details? Here you can see these details required. If I want to connect to the MySQL DB, I need username, password, port and host details. These details, by using these details, I can connect to the MySQL. Let's see how we can connect to the MySQL. So in this database, you have to click on this add button. It will open one configuration. Okay. If you observe very careful, so here we can connect to the multiple types of databases. In the drop down you can see we can connect to the Oracle database by using Oracle connection. We can connect to the MySQL server by using the MySQL connection. Something we can connect to the some kind of a Postgre or a third party kind of a database also we can integrate by using generic connection. This is the Microsoft SQL server. This is the Microsoft SQL. So in this way you can connect to the different kind of servers, different kind of databases you can connect by using different connections. As of now, we are connecting to the MySQL server, right? So that's why I'm choosing MySQL connection. So once you choose the MySQL connection, so to connect to this MySQL DB, it will show all the related fields, required fields. You can see these are the required fields. Host is required, and this port also required, and username password also required. But sometimes they can avoid also. Means if they are not providing any security, directly we can connect to the host and port also. That is up to their standards. Okay. First of all, if you want to connect to the database, you need one driver. Okay. So you need a driver. Driver means it's nothing but a kind of a, for example, if you want to install in your laptop, if you want to install Bluetooth, you need to install the Bluetooth drivers and Wi-Fi drivers, right? In the same way, if you want to connect to the database, you need to install the JDBC driver. How you can add this driver? It is also very simple. Just click on the configure and click on add Maven dependency and select this. Here it will suggest automatically one dependency. Based on this dependency, in the dependency if you observe group ID, artifact and version. Based on this artifact ID and version, it will download this jar file. Okay, driver means nothing but it's a jar file. It will download the jar file from the Google automatically. In the Google also you can see Maven repository. So from that Maven repository, it will download the jars. Why? Because all the jars will load into that Maven repository. It will download that jar and it will add that driver to our application. Now you can see this will become in a green color. Okay, previously it is in a red color. Now you have to give your host. What is my host details? Local host and port is 3306. Username, password, root. Same things I'll give here. Local host. What is my port? 3306. This is the default port of the MySQL. Okay, something for the Oracle it will be different. Something 1896 something is there. Not remember 15 something is there. So username is like root. Password also root. Database means we need to give the database name. For example, so here I have used latest DB. Okay, my DB name is latest DB. Inside latest DB, so I am connecting to the customers. Okay, these are the customer ID, customer name, customer city. Let's connect to the customer. Okay, so here how can I connect to the so here I need to give this database name. What is my database name? Latest DB. Okay, latest underscore DB. Latest underscore DB. Just I'll check the test connection. Yeah, test connection successfully. In the latest DB also you can see multiple tables. For example, so if you want I can close entire thing. I'll open again for you. Okay. MySQL command line. I'm opening from starting onwards. First I'll enter the root password. After that I'll show databases. So in this database I'll select the latest DB. Okay, how can I select? Use latest underscore DB. So in this DB also I want to show the tables. Okay, show tables. So what are the tables are available? Customer and persons, right? I want to see the customer's table details. Select a star from customers. Okay, in this way you can check all your customer details. Okay, so here as of now I have connected to the database, and then if I want to get the customer details I need to execute this query. Okay, just copy this query and paste here. Now my query is done, everything is ready. Okay, so I'm saving this and I'm running this application. In this way I can run this application. So my application is running. Yeah, it is deploying. Once it is deployed, I'll test from the Postman by using this path. What is my path? Get customers is my path. I'll copy this path and I'll go to the Postman. Okay, I'll paste here. Okay, I'll take the new tab. Here I'll paste. Before that, I need to give all URL localhost 8081 slash get customers. This is my path. And let's see here it is deployed or not. Still it is deploying. Let's wait for some more time. Okay, and I'm sending the request from here. Now you'll get the response here. Okay, so what you are getting, 500 server error. So what it is showing, runtime action attempted to send the invalid data through the HTTP response. Nothing but database is giving the data, but it is giving the data in a streaming format. Okay, streaming objects format it will give, but that streaming object format we cannot send directly to the browser as a response. Because our HTTP response will not support that format. So that's why we need to transform in a one proper format, understandable format we need to transfer. How we can transform the data? By using the transform message. Okay, by using the transform message we can transform the data. Here you can see JSON. Okay, here you can see kind of a JSON. JSON format is fine. And here payload I'll give. Okay, payload I'll give. Just automatically it will transform all the data into JSON format. Okay, so here even in the previous section you can see first logger is printed. Okay, flow started logger is printed, but flow ended logger is not printed. Why? Because we are getting the error in a database, right? This database is not returning the response to the browser. So that's why even you cannot see the end logger also. Sorry, end logger also printed. Okay, started logger also printed, end logger also printed, but the response after this response it is not sending back to the browser. That is the issue. So that's why we are converting that data into JSON data. So JSON data means it can give, means our HTTP protocol will handle this JSON data. So then we can easily process. This time I'm pressing Ctrl S. Ctrl S means it will redeploy this application automatically. We don't need to do anything. Okay, it is redeployed. If you want, I can clear the console. Then you can check all the logs very clearly. Previously we are getting 500, right? This time you will get 200. Okay, and even you will get all these table details. Okay, 101 Niru Delhi. So these details I'll get in a JSON object. This is the JSON format. Here you can see the format also, JSON format. So first 101 Niru Delhi, it is given a object format, and second details also it is giving in a object format. Only two details I have. Okay, two details I have. In these two details also, if I want to get only particular details, how can I get particular details I want to get? How can I get? Let's see. So for that, okay, so just observe very carefully. It is bit difficult. Okay, so just you can assume I will change the flow names also. Get underscore all, not underscore, I'll give hyphen. Okay, get all customers. So this is the get all customers flow. In the same way, I'll create a one more flow. How can I create flow? So this is different one. Get customer by ID. This is my flow name. This is the get all customers. This is the get customer by ID. So remaining components will be same. You can copy entire this flow also. How can you copy? Just press Ctrl and select the all components. Click here, Ctrl C. Once you select all the components, Ctrl C. Click here, Ctrl V. What happened? It's not coming, right? Okay, we'll copy it separately otherwise. Okay, I think. Okay, what happened? Okay, first I want to copy only processors. Okay, control all the processors, select all the processor, control C, and clicking on the process and paste here. Okay, all the code will come here. Okay, even I'll copy this separately. Okay, so then everything is came, right? If you want to remove this copy of for each connector name, if you want to remove this copy of, you can remove the display name. Okay, so in the logger also you can remove the display name. Okay,
You did like control C and control V.
yeah, control C and control V. I have selected control first. You need to press control and you need to select all these components. After that, control C, you have to press control C. Then it will, all these components will copy. Here you have to place in a process level, not in source level. Okay, process components you have to place in a process level. Source components you can paste into a source level only. Okay, and if you want to change this, for this you cannot change the display name directly. For this, directly right click and click on rename, then you can rename this. Only transform message you cannot rename directly. So remaining all the components, directly you can go to the display name and you can rename. Okay, I'll tell you more shortcuts. Okay, please try to remember all the shortcuts always. Okay, in this way you can implement the flow, but here what you need to change, only you need to change path only. Okay, get customer slash id. Okay, here I want to take id dynamically. Based on id, I want to get the particular customer. Okay, so that's why I'm allowing the id also. So here if I'm allowing id here, so then obviously here I can pass the id. Okay, for that I will take one more tab here. Okay, so same url I'll take, but only end of the url I'll pass the id slash. So for example, if I want to get 101, for example, here in the postman also you can see. So here you will get all the customer details, right? In this particularly I want to get these customer details. How can I get? By passing this id 101. Here I need to pass 101. So if I pass 101 here, it will capture here. Okay, here I have placed a curly braces, right? So it will capture that id. It will process that id as a URI parameter. Okay, so here as usual it will print the start logger and select query and transforming data, and this is the end logger. But where I can use that id? In the database query I can use that id. Okay, select star from customers where. Okay, okay, where select star from customer where customer id. I want to filter based on the customer id, right? So customer id, where customer id equal to colon id. Okay, so I'm giving id dynamically. From where I'm giving? So already I'm getting from the URI parameters, right? I'm getting that id from URI parameters. I'm assigning this URI parameters here also directly. If you want, you can assign that URI parameters directly here also. How you can assign directly? Attributes. So here it is not possible. Okay, let's see. I'll add in this way. Okay, just enable the fx and take curly braces. Inside curly braces you have to give this key in single quotes. You have to give, okay, id and colon. I want to capture the URI parameter here. Okay, how can I capture the URI parameter? Here, attributes dot, not here, attributes dot URI params dot id. Okay, so as part of the URI parameters I'm getting the id from postman. Okay, if you pass any ID here, I can capture here as part of URI parameter. That URI parameter I'm calling into the database query. Okay, in the input parameters, I'm calling that URI parameter. I'm assigning to one key. Here even you can give any kind of key. For example, CID also you can give. CID means customer ID. Okay, so here also you need to give CID. This and this should be same. Why? Because I'm adding this URI parameter to one key and I'm referring that key here. Okay, this should be equal to the column name. Okay, so where customer ID, right? So this and this should be same. Customer ID and table column name both should be same. This is the column name, table column name. So that's why it should be say equal with the column name. So in this way you have to write your query, and let's save this and I'll execute. Okay, it will redeploy anyway. It is redeployed. I'm clearing the all console. Let's see. First of all, I will execute. Okay, first of all, I'll execute this one. So here you can see I'm sending the request. Now I'll get all these details. Even in the loggers also you can check. Flow started, flow ended. Nothing but this flow started, this flow ended. So, but I want to know the flow name also. How can I know the flow name? That is also easy. So for that you need to write the syntax. What is the syntax you need to write? Okay. What is the syntax is that? I'll write that syntax also. Let's see will it print or not. Okay. Flow dot name. Flow dot name. Okay. So nothing but I want to write the flow name also. So it will print this flow name. Okay. Here even also I want to print the flow name dynamically. Okay. So what happened? Flow name here it will print. Okay. Remaining everything will print. Let's see. Even here also you can write the same syntax. It is creating. And here also you can give. Okay. I'm saving. I want to print the flow names also. Instead of flow started, I want to print this flow name also. Get all customers flow started. It will print like that. Okay, I'm clearing the console. Let's see now. Now you can see get all customer flow started. Get all customer flow ended. Nothing but this flow started and this flow ended. So then you will get all these customer details. But I want to get only particular customer details, 101 or 102. This time I want to get only 102 customer details. How can I get? So for that scenario, I need to hit the another flow. Okay, this flow I have created for that. So I'll hit this flow. How can I hit this flow? By using separate URL. Get customer slash ID I need to pass. If I pass ID, then it will hit the second flow. Why? Because here I'm capturing that ID dynamically, right? So that's why. So let's see the logs also for the second one. I'm sending the request. Here if I'm sending 102, I'll get the 102 customer details. So 102 customer details I'm getting. Even you can check the logs also. Get customer by ID flow started, get customer by ID flow ended. This flow executed successfully. Okay. If I'm triggering with 101, again that flow will execute. So here you will get 101 Nero details you'll get. And here you can see get customer ID flow started once again. So get customer by ID flow ended. In this way you can see the logs also. By seeing these logs you can understand like my flow is started or not, ended or not. You can observe very carefully. Okay. So in this way you can create a get customer ID and get all customers you can get. Okay, in this way you can execute. And yeah, tomorrow we are going to see like how we can execute the insert and update delete operations. So this is all about so those are very simple actually. If you once you build all this flow, so then you can build that flow also very easily. So inserting and updating delete operation we are going to see in tomorrow session. That's it guys, thank you.